Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel called Living in Hayward, Wisconsin, where we talk about all things real estate related and also just about living in Hayward. I'm Audrey Miller. I'm the broker owner of Northwest Wisconsin Realty Team, and we're located right on Main Street in Hayward, so feel free to stop by anytime. And today we're going to talk a little bit about a question that often comes up with buyers in the area, and that is about internet and cell phone coverage here in the Northwoods, in the Hayward and surrounding area. So stay tuned for some information about what kind of internet coverage is available in the area, what cell phone carriers work well here and which ones don't, and just kind of giving you the lowdown on all of that if you're planning to move to Hayward or looking for a vacation home in the Hayward area. So you're considering a move to the Hayward area full-time, or you're considering purchasing a second home property on one of the lakes or in the country here, or on the ski trails around the Hayward and surrounding areas, and you're wondering about internet and cell phone. First of all, connect with a local agent who is experienced and can help you with these things. Again, I'm Audrey Miller. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm the broker owner of Northwest Wisconsin Realty Team. I'd love to hear from you if you're looking to buy or sell. You also can subscribe, like, share my channel, comment below if you have any thoughts or any subject matter you'd like me to discuss, but I'd be more than happy to help you with your search. So you've got all my contact info right here on the screen, and feel free to reach out at any time for any reason, really. If you just want information about the Hayward area and you're not looking to buy or sell now, that's all good too. So internet is usually the bigger concern than cell phone coverage, because if you have good internet, you can do Wi-Fi calling, and you essentially don't really need to have cell phone service. You can turn your phone into airplane mode and simply use your Wi-Fi to make phone calls. Most phones have that feature that you can enable. So the cell phone coverage in your home is not a huge deal. Now, if you're living here and you're going to be traveling around the area, then the cell phone coverage is a bigger issue. Or if you often have to drive from one place to another and you have areas that you go through that don't have cell phone coverage, that would be something that would be more of a concern. But for the home or cabin itself, the internet is a much bigger concern, and what I often hear about from buyers. So what internet carriers do we have available here? CenturyLink is the carrier that is most common in the rural areas around here. So a lot of the outlying areas, you get a little bit further from the town of Hayward or the town of Cable, you're going to have CenturyLink as the provider. CenturyLink is okay, but not great service. So there's a lot of complaints in the area about CenturyLink. Sometimes they're not as reliable either. I personally have CenturyLink at my home about 20 minutes east of Hayward on the Chippewa flowage. And besides the slower speed, I don't have a lot of other complaints about it, but it is pretty slow. You can do what you need to do. We can stream. I can do all my work that I need to do from home. But let's say I'm uploading videos for my YouTube channel. They can take a really long time because we're looking at speeds less than 20 megabits per second, sometimes in certain areas down to lower than 10 megabits per second for CenturyLink. So if you're doing a lot of Zoom calls or a lot of streaming or uploading, or you're working from home, CenturyLink may be kind of on the edge of being able to provide you with what you need. But that is currently the most common carrier that we have outside of the town of Hayward and the town of Cable. The other carriers that we have for internet, or providers I should say, we have Charter Spectrum. They have a very high quality fiber optic, but they have limited areas that they service, namely Cable and Hayward. I think they're doing some expanding, but they are not available in most places. We also have BevCom when you get down towards like the Winter, Excellent, Ojibwa area. They're based out of Weyerhaeuser, so they've been moving north a little bit. They've been installing some fiber optic. So in certain areas, not too close to Hayward, but a little bit further south, BevCom can be a good fiber optic option if they have run it by, the property that you're looking at. The other one is Mosaic. Mosaic has been expanding around the Stone Lake area, even down in the Winter area. So a lot of fiber optic is being laid around that Stone Lake area. There's been vast improvements in the last year. There were crews from Mosaic here for probably a year working on installing fiber optic. Some of it's not hooked up yet, or it's coming in 2025, but they've been laying the groundwork for that. So we are getting more and more fiber optic from these different companies. CenturyLink is not doing fiber optic outside of Hayward that I'm aware of at this time. This is in the fall of 2024. But the good news for everyone when it comes to internet is that we now have an option that only has become available in the last year or two, and it is a game changer for anybody who needs to work from home or needs to have excellent internet service in the area. So this internet game changer changer that I'm referring to is Starlink. So while these other options I mentioned tend to cost around $70 a month, give or take, whether the fiber optic or the DSL, somewhere around there, it can vary a little bit based on the carrier. But Starlink is now available in the entire region that I service, so Hayward, the surrounding counties and the surrounding areas. Starlink is an excellent option. Now it does cost you just a little bit more per month, and there is an initial cost for the satellite itself. This is Elon Musk's satellite internet, and it has been a huge improvement in our area. So places where you couldn't even really get internet before, the internet was very, very low quality, we now have the option of Starlink. So Starlink runs off of satellites. You have a little dish you put up on the top of your house or somewhere that has a clear view of the sky. It costs around $500 for the initial investment of the equipment, and then the monthly charge with taxes and everything is right around $120. So maybe $50 more per month, but in the scope of a year, you're talking around $600 extra for amazing internet service. So this is something that has taken our area from a place where people may have not been able to move to full time due to needing internet for working from home, etc. And now they have the option to do that with Starlink. You can also get Starlink Roam, which you can use in more than one place. You take the dish with you back and forth from, say, your second home to your primary home. So you're only paying for one internet subscription, but you can move it with you. That's a good option for some people, or if you travel part of the year and want to take it with you, then that way you can cut down on your costs. And then I personally have another Starlink option that has been an absolute game changer for me. So since I'm out on the roads all the time and traveling around the area, constantly dropping phone calls, getting in places where I don't have service, needing to look something up for clients or directions to a place, and I'm stuck in an area where there's no cell service, can't even send a text, can't pull anything up online, I have purchased Starlink in Motion, which mounts to the top of my car and gives me service everywhere I go. Now, it's not cheap. The initial investment is even more than Starlink Roam, and the monthly charge is higher. But in my line of business, with what I do, it is amazing. So now I can call from anywhere. I have internet service wherever I go, and I am thrilled with this. I only got it this fall. People are always asking me, what is that on top of your car? And then I explain to them that I have Starlink in Motion. So I'm extremely happy with it. The only time it doesn't work is if you're on a back road where the trees are completely covering the road, and then you'll lose signal for a little bit. But as soon as you get to a spot where there's not heavy tree coverage, you're back in service. So it took me a little bit to get things dialed in on the powering of that. I ended up having to buy an extra little power bank that I need to charge, because otherwise it was just blowing fuses in my particular vehicle anyway. But I got all that solved, and now it works wonderfully, and a huge fan of that. And then to talk a little bit about cell phone coverage, the two main carriers that we have here that work in the most areas are Verizon and AT&T. We do also have some T-Mobile in the area, and Charter Spectrum has a mobile service. Most people around here have Verizon or AT&T. Like US Cellular doesn't work here. There's some other carriers that just aren't even present in our area. So I have had Charter Spectrum in the past, and I've had Verizon, and I've known people with AT&T. It kind of is spotty. Like Verizon might work in places where AT&T doesn't, and vice versa. But for myself, with the area I travel within, I find that Verizon has the most towers and the most coverage. But that said, it's terrible cell coverage around here. I mean, if you're in Hayward or you're close to a town, but if you get out on the back roads or outside of the main populated areas, you will often have one bar, not even have the ability to send a text. Sometimes you have no service at all. And we have one other problem. We have so many second homeowners and so many seasonal visitors and people who live in our area in the summertime, you know, on the lakes and in their cabins. So our service is way worse in the summertime than it is in the wintertime. You can tell when the vacationers start to leave because our cell service will go up and improve. There's too many people using the towers for what we have available here in the summertime. So places where you might get 3 bars in the wintertime, you're down to 1 bar or no service in the summertime. So cell phone coverage is a real challenge, and you just have to kind of plan when you're going somewhere. If you're traveling a little distance around the area or going somewhere away from the towns, you basically have to just figure you're going to be without coverage for a period of time in there. There's a lot of dead spots. I'm not sure how cell phone carriers decide when to add more towers or when to improve service. You know, I know they've added some, but in my years of living here, I actually don't think the service has gotten any better, and sometimes I think it's worse because there's more people using it. So if you're looking for an area with great cell phone service, this is not it. Maybe someday somebody will solve this. Obviously, like I said, this is in the fall of 2024, so who knows what will change in the future. But I just thought I would kind of give you all rundown of the internet and cell phone options. As I said, it's a question I get asked a lot, and just one of the many things that I can help you with, provide information, and give you my insights from being in the area, living and working here as one of the top real estate brokers in the area. So if you, again, are interested in reaching out for any reason, want to subscribe, like, share my channel, I would love that. I'm Audrey Miller. Thank you for taking your time to join me today, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future.